We're going live. Expose my headsets. Love music and love life. You are listening to Smooth 98.1. It's Soul Food right here. It's 5 minutes past 8 o'clock, and we are now ready to talk about your health and wellness. Even though we've been talking about that already in the 7 o'clock hour, if you were part of the conversation. Beautiful, interesting, funny, humorous, but at the same time, there is one or two lessons to pick out from there. So today on Soul Food, we'll be talking about the vegetarian lifestyle, and part of the reason why this came up is because November is the Vegan Awareness Month, and for people to understand what the vegan lifestyle is. But then there is a difference between the vegan lifestyle and the vegetarian lifestyle. And so, what are some of the things you need to know about the vegetarian lifestyle if you like the idea, you like the name, it's fancy, or maybe somebody around you is into that lifestyle, and you think, oh, it's not bad, I can try it. So there are some things you need to know, and that's what we'll be getting to this morning on Soul Food on Smooth 98.1. My name is Oluwaseun Olusegun, and you're welcome to join us. There is WhatsApp line for your messages and your questions, and there is a call line. But let's get into it, and then you can ask your questions later on. We're also streaming live on YouTube. That is at Smooth 91 FM Lagos. At Smooth 91 FM Lagos. And as my guest, I have someone who is just so wonderful because anytime I call on her, she has never said a no. And I'm grateful for that. And she's very passionate about health education, about your wellness. And she uses all the platform that she has just to educate people and get them in tip-top shape. And I'm referring to a clinical dietitian as well as a registered nutritionist with so many degrees. She is known as the Food Doctor on Instagram, and she is Udeme Umo Isemin. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Miss Sean.
Again. And how are you?
Thank you. It's always a pleasure and it's always a good time here. It's always fun,
Yeah, I
enlightening, and
know.
interesting.
As you bring
And
your
then to all
teaching
your
anointing.
listeners, how are we doing today?
It looks like there's a bit of lag in the internet connection, but we'll survive. We'll survive with it. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's get into the definition. That's where we'll build this building from. The definition of the vegetarian diet, because I remember back then with the little knowledge of nutrition I had, they would say something like vegetarian, ovo, vegetarian, lacto ovo, and the likes. So what is the vegetarian diet or lifestyle, and what are the different types of it?
Okay. Thank you very much once again for the opportunity to be here. So I think yesterday was the World
Vegan Day.
Vegetarian Diet Day, and yeah, vegan day. So there'll be lots of questions here and there, here and there. So I would just say that the vegetarian diet, or will I say lifestyle, allows every other thing except for the MFP factor. Now, you might be wondering, oh, what's MFP factor? So it was something I was studying quite recently, and I began to realize that the MFP factor means meat, fish, and poultry. So it's called the MFP factor, meat, fish, and poultry. So the vegetarian diet includes everything plant-based, excluding means without MFP, without meat, fish, and poultry. And people do it for so many reasons. Some people do it because it's trendy. Some people do it for health reasons. Maybe the moment you're diagnosed with a particular health condition, you're like, oh, I think it's high time I just go the vegan way, and or the vegetarian way. And there's some people maybe animal welfare. People are worried of what's going on. The animals that we eat, there are a lot of estrogen stuck into them, lots of drugs, so they are not comfortable with how the animals are raised. They are not sure what the animals are being fed. So they are scared that, oh no, anything animal, I don't want to go near. There are many reasons why people decide to go on a vegetarian diet. Now, let me just quickly talk about the few types of the diets, vegetarian diets that we have. We have the lacto-ovo. So lacto-ovo means that I will include everything that has dairy and eggs. Dairy is also a byproduct from animals. Even eggs are also a byproduct from poultry. So the lacto-ovo is including anything dairy, maybe milk, cheese, and all of those in the family. Yes, it's allowed with eggs. That's for lacto-ovo. Then we have the lacto. Lacto means that the moment you hear lacto, you just know that lacto has to do with dairy. Lacto, lactase, So lacto, a type of vegetarian diet can be lactose, and lactose is just focusing on dairy products only. No eggs, nothing else. Just dairy plus your plant-based product. You already have fruits, beans, vegetables, and the likes. Now, when you now hear ovo means that you're allowing eggs, but you're excluding dairy. Remember, I said earlier that lacto means I'm including dairy and excluding eggs. But ovo means I'm including eggs and I'm excluding
dairy.
Dairy. Then we also have vegan. So I think you already asked something about vegan.
Yeah, how is it different?
So they are not the same thing, even though they are similar. Okay, so the difference is that anything that has to do with animal, for vegan, they don't want to be interested. The types of vegetarian still has some parts where you allow dairy, allow eggs, seafoods, because there's even a type of vegetarian that is pescatarian.
Yeah, pescatarian, yeah. Fish.
That includes like fish and seafood and all of that. But when it comes to vegan, yeah, fish and seafood, like the oysters, snails, crabs, anything that comes from sea, including fish, it's allowed. But for the vegan, it's derivatives, whether it's egg, whether it's vegan, are strictly plants. But the vegetarian can still allow a little, maybe eggs here, dairy here, but the vegans don't allow at all. They don't allow at all. Even their personal care, their clothing, anything from the animal family or animal derivatives or animal source, they don't want to have it. So even not just their meal, even their lifestyle does not accommodate anything from the animal.
Interesting. Okay,
so that's the thing about the difference between vegetarian and vegan. Yeah, please go ahead.
All right. Yeah, we'll definitely need to understand the benefits of the vegetarian lifestyle. I mean, for more people to be flocking to the lifestyle, it means that there is something it has to offer aside when you have to be on it compulsorily, maybe because of a medical condition. So we want to understand the benefit of the vegetarian lifestyle, and also are there possible disadvantages? We'll get to that right after this. You're listening to Soul Food on Smooth 98.1. So I had to take the break for you to disconnect and join again. Maybe it will make the network better or the reception better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try that.
All right.
Start your Sunday morning the right way on Smooth 8.1.
Motivate, inspiring. People that inspire us, challenge us, make us better.
It's Smooth Motivation every single with great motivational music for your mind, body, and soul to get you through your week. Smooth Motivations every Sunday, 7 a.m.
Feed your mind and the rest of the You start with figuring out what does health look like for me, physically, mentally, emotionally, and work.
So can we try again?
Good. Healthy mind, healthy body, healthy life. Soul Food on
Hi, can you hear me now? Is it clear?
Okay, if it stays this way, then we're good. Love music and love life. You're listening to Soul Food on Smooth 98.1, and we're talking about the vegetarian lifestyle, understanding the vegetarian lifestyle. We've started by talking about what the vegetarian life means and what it involves and how it differs from the vegan lifestyle, my guest, who is a clinical dietitian and nutritionist, has told us that vegetarian lifestyle, yes, primarily plant-based, but then it can have variations of maybe fish. No, not fish. That's egg and dairy. And you have the lacto-ovo vegetarian that includes egg and dairy. And then you have the ovo that includes egg. And then there can also be the pescatarian diet, which involves fish and seafood. But then for the vegan lifestyle, everything that is animal, be it the derivative, be it the product, anything like that is not even allowed at all. So now let's understand some of the benefits or the advantages of the vegetarian lifestyle. Are you there?
Okay, so okay. I'm not sure if you're with me. All right. So I know that most of the time we're always crazy about vegetarian diet, lifestyle in the short term, but we have never looked at it in the long term. We don't have enough research or science that has really backed up the long-term benefits or effects of vegetarian diet. Most of what we have so far now, because everything before you come to a conclusion on a particular thing, there has to be long-term evidence. That's why a dietitian is different from an online opinionated person or a quack, because we look at the paper, we look at the evidence, look at the research. Okay, how many researches have been done around this? Long-term, what has been the result? What has been the health outcome? Are they better health outcomes? Are they better health quality outcomes? If they are not, then we don't take it to the market and say, okay, no, go and start it. Everybody, it's fine. So long-term, there are no real health benefits for vegetarian diet for long term. But
Hold
for
on,
short
please.
term, we can say, okay, if this is the risk. Yeah.
Can you take that again? I didn't get it well.
Okay, so I'm saying that when it comes to the health and what we eat, we have so many opinions about it, especially on the online space. Everyone is having an opinion about something. But what should I really do? What's the right thing to do? The right thing is to look at the papers long term and not just short term. So because nutrition generally, healthy eating, it's a lifestyle and not short term. Lifestyle means for a long period of time. So when you're starting out to change the diet plan, you must look at something that's sustainable, something that is long term. So if you're going to go into the vegan, are you going to do it long term? Yeah, short term, there are some benefits. For instance, reduced risk of heart disease and stroke. There can also be maybe lower saturated fat and cholesterol intake, high fiber consumption. But nevertheless, if it is not done properly under the guidance of a dietitian, it's possible to be a vegetarian and still gain weight. So you can even be on plant-based and then your health is maybe in the long term not even getting better. Because there's a place for portion, the quantity and quality of the kind of plants you're choosing. So you won't say, because there are still plant-based can still talk about your sugar sweetened drinks, your pizza. So I'm doing plant-based and then you're eating pizza on a daily, or you're drinking SSB on a daily. That's sugar sweetened beverages on a daily, and you expect that your health to be better. So it still requires proper planning, proper inclusion of the right diet with the right nutrients in the right quantity. So benefits can be, yes, reduced risk of heart disease, stroke, cancer. You can even talk about high fiber consumption and antioxidants, because those are mainly from plants. But if it's not done appropriately, there can be increased energy and you may be losing some nutrients if it's not done under the guidance of a dietitian.
What are some of those nutrients that you could be losing?
I think you talked about the possible disadvantages. So, okay, for instance, iron and vitamin B12. Now, I'm sure you will know that vitamin B12 is mostly gotten from animal sources of food. And the body does not produce it. That's why it is called an essential nutrient. When something is called an essential nutrient, it means that the body does not produce it. It can only be gotten from the diet that you eat on a daily. So the tendency of when you're a vegan or a vegetarian, you have the possibility of it to have the risks of deficiency in vitamin B12, and this can cause anemia. Anemia is when you have shortage of red blood cells that are not carrying enough oxygen to the different parts of the body, including your brain. So you notice that you have signs like fatigue, blood vision, joint aches and pain, and stuff like that. So this can be as a result of lack of vitamin B12 and even iron, because some of the easily absorbed iron come from animal sources, the MFP, the meat, fish, and poultry. Because it's possible, yeah, there are iron in other food sources, but they are not easily absorbable. They have animal sources of iron and we have plant sources of iron. The one from the animal is easily absorbed by the body, while the one from plants will require a combination of other factors for the absorption to take place. So if there are, so you have iron, even zinc, for instance, zinc that comes from seafood. For somebody who wants to improve fertility, especially in men, you want to be having enough zinc from seafoods, from eggs. For a woman who is pregnant, you want to be having choline from eggs as well. But if you're a vegan, you're not eating any of those. These are the possible disadvantages of you being a vegan or being a vegetarian.
Okay, so I know this thing has been a hot, well, I don't know if I'll call it a hot topic, but it has been one that has been debated for years. And those who have been on the vegan lifestyle, vegetarian lifestyle, have many times debunked it, that they are fine and they're not lacking any nutrient, even the vitamin B12. So is it possible that there could be some sort of supplementation for this vitamin B12?
Yes, it's possible, but I'm always tell people that supplements is correct, and supplements cannot also take the place of a real diet. Remember that substitutes they are not natural occurring; they are manufactured. So they try to mimic what is available in natural occurring foods, which is okay, but may not be sufficient as compared to the one you're taking naturally occurring. So yes, supplements are fine. You can work with that. Especially for vitamin B. So, but when we talk about things like zinc and iron and all of those, for how long? Like I said, for long term. But if it's someone that you are able to, you have the financial capacity to sustain it, it's okay. But there's something always called a better option. But if you decide to do vegan or vegetarian, it's fine. Supplements can help, and it differs for different people. Yes. And I've heard of people that also go for blood transfusion from time to time. Yes. I've heard of vegans or vegetarians who go for blood transfusion because they don't have enough blood per time. And they'll rather go for the blood transfusion or take blood than eat rich sources of iron and vitamin B12 from animal sources. Yeah. So that's it.
That is weird. Okay. Now, if a person decides, well, this is my choice, and I just want to cut out every derivative of animal, and I choose to go vegan, what will be some of your advice for them to transition into this life? Well, that's one. The other part is, are there medical conditions that totally warrant you becoming a vegetarian or a vegan? And what are those conditions?
Conditions like high blood pressure, heart disease, because of course we don't dispute the fact that overconsumption or excess consumption of particularly processed and processed meat, can result to conditions like heart disease, diabetes, GIT problems, high blood pressure, and obesity. Of course, that's a metabolic disease. We don't dispute that these things can result into that. But I will also say that the right quantity and the kind of animal product that you consume can be. So if you look back, most of the people that really have those health conditions are really on packaged and processed meats and foods. So, but if you eat your chicken, the chicken breast, you eat your fish, maybe boiled or grilled, as the case may be, in the right quantities, you still be able to navigate through those medical conditions. But if you still feel like, okay, I want to completely eliminate everything because I have a heart disease and high blood pressure, that's fine. Now, when you are transitioning into the veg diet, like I said earlier, you want to sit down with a dietitian and explore new recipes, flavors. You want to find out what is available in their environment. Because you guys say you want to be a vegetarian, do you have the food you want to start taking now, the plant-based foods, do you have them in your locality? Because you have to look at the affordability, the availability of those plant-based products in your environment. You want to have a part, is that food seasonal? Because some of those plants sometimes can be seasonal, dry season, rainy season. So you want to ensure that as you're transitioning, there must not be any room for lack as regarding the key nutrients that you need from the plants. It has to be available. Now, I wanted to even include that, let me sound this alarm for those that should not be following a vegetarian diet. Number one, a pregnant woman. We all know that pregnant women need really, really higher amount of blood during pregnancy. So it's always advisable that women who are pregnant, because they need careful planning in order to prevent any of these neural defect problems on themselves and their children. Anemia. Remember that babies for birth to 6 months of life use the iron reserve of their mother to sustain themselves until they start taking in normal food. So if your own as a mother don't have enough iron stores, how do you want to sustain your child between 0 to 6 months of life? So that's one of the reasons why I don't really advise pregnant women or breastfeeding mothers to really go into the vegan lifestyle. People who are anemic, and then of course children, because they are growing, they need lots of protein, and the protein that they need comes from both animal and plant sources. So as a vegan, you want to put them on just plant sources and also denying them animal sources. Their body may not have the system to really absorb the plant sources as it will easily absorb the one from the animal sources. And then for the elderly people, and people have some conditions like I said earlier, anemia, allergies. There are some plant foods that some people cannot absorb or take, that the body will not react to. Maybe the anti-nutrients in them and all of those stuff from the plant sources. So that's why the animal source will just be a better option for them. So if you want to transition, sit down with the dietitian, plan your meals carefully. So the meals that you are excluding, how do you want to substitute them in your meal? For instance, the vitamin B12. How do you want to increase protein intake? How do you want to ensure that the plant-sourced protein and plant-sourced iron, how do you want to food combine? They call it dynamic duo. How do you want to combine the food to ensure that when you are having those plant sources of food, you are balancing them out, ensuring that the nutrient, for instance, they always say when you want to take enough iron, let there be vitamin C to absorb the iron. Now, if the iron I need from, for instance, green vegetables, I want to make vegetables, I should be able to have a source of vitamin C, pepper, to cook. It's complementing one another. So the iron in green vegetables will need vitamin C for easy uptake when it gets into the body. So I won't just make plain vegetables like that, green vegetables, without not thinking of adding any source of vitamin C. So that's why I say that it's important to sit down with your dietitian and plan this transition appropriately.
Thank you for helping us to understand this lifestyle thoroughly, because these are nuggets.
Yeah. Me.
Now, there was something you said in your explanation that I just want to move to, even though it might be a digression, when you mentioned that children should not be on this diet, on the vegetarian or the vegan lifestyle. There are times that I worry for some children because of their size, and they are obviously obese, going by their age, their height, and other factors. What do you advise for parents who have children who are obese or overweight? How do they help those children to lose weight?
I think one of the things that causes obesity is increased screen time and lack of physical activities. and also increase intake of junks and foods that does not provide value to their body. So instead of giving children real food, we give them processed foods. So let's first go back to the drawing board and ask ourselves, what have we been feeding our children? So is it noodles morning, afternoon, night? Is it hot dog morning, afternoon, night? Are we always on pizza? Are we always on shawarma? Are we always on? So because it's easy to make, it's convenient. We don't want to go back to make our kids eating real food and eating the real food in the right quantities. That's number one. And then also bringing in the creativity. So I can see, if I want my children to eat fruits, and if I give them fruits, they are not responding. Have I tried converting them to popsicles, where I get to blend different kinds of fruits and then put them on a popsicle, ice them, and give them form of ice cream? They'll be excited. So for children, creativity is lacking in still giving them the essential nutrients, but in another form. So if you give your child a particular kind of food most likely in an adult form, they may not receive it. For instance, now you make, maybe for instance, you make stew sauce and you're cutting carrots. Just seeing the carrot alone is going to turn the child off. But if you blend the carrots and make it together when you were making stew, that child will not know. That's creativity. I also talked about popsicle now, for instance. You blending different kinds of fruit, for instance, banana, pineapple, and then putting them, and maybe watermelon, putting a nice, maybe little date inside, just so sweet, because they are sweet people. They are too sweet. You mix it and then put in popsicle form. You ice like ice cream, and then give to them later. They'll be excited than you just cutting fruit and say, yeah, come and eat. So it first starts with getting our kids to eat real food. Go take them back to eating and enjoying real food. Secondly, also physical activity. So the sedentary lifestyle of children these days have really, really increased because of screen time. So it's okay. Now God blesses us for them to go from, when we were growing up, we have to walk miles to go to school. The distance from the school gates to your class was so far. If you agree with me, no, we just had systems around us that just helps us to explore. You have time playing out with your friends, we play ball. But these days, kids are just all indoors, all on the screen. To almost, once they're back from school, they're on the screen till when they go to bed. So that's encouraging a sedentary lifestyle. And that's why most of our kids are also obese. We don't have a routine for them for exercise. And there's nothing wrong if a child starts as early as they can. When you're also going out for your morning walks, and if the parents themselves are never living a healthy lifestyle, how do the kids even want to emulate it? So it all starts from that, where get our kids to eat the real food that they should be eating, get our kids to get active, get them involved with other things in the home, get them involved in farming, get them involved in going around to shop or buy things, get them involved in physical activities. So in that way, they'll be able to catch them, really young. Yeah, I think that would really help.
Thank you for that extra. And thank you for all that you've shared today on understanding the vegetarian lifestyle. So I hope that somebody is better equipped with the information to make a better choice, just in case you're thinking about transitioning. There is nothing wrong with it, but just make sure that you have all the necessary information to make that decision. And importantly, like Udeme has said this morning, you need to think about the long-term consequences. Can you sustain it? Is this something that you can go on and on with? And what are the adjustments? What are the plans and structures that you've put in place for you to be able to be healthy, even while you are changing diets? If you're going to cut out some things, how are you replacing them? Thank you, Demi. I cannot thank you enough for the time and all the gems that you have shared, even with the network trying to be funny this morning. We're grateful.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so you can catch Udeme on, I was about to say YouTube, on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
And that is at Meet the Food Doctor, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Yeah, I totally hate this lag and when you're not even sure. So maybe it's like hopefully the next time is not like this. Otherwise, we might have to bring in the walkie-talkie thing. My name is Udeme, over, and I'm Oluwaseun, over. All right, thank you so much, and I look forward to another conversation with you one of these days. Do have a lovely morning. Over.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening and being a part of the show. Next week we go again on Soul Food from 8 to 8:30 right here on Smooth 98.1. Now the great music continues because this is the Love Music, Love Live radio station. And I hope that you have a beautiful morning. No, that's not my bye. I'm still here with you.
Mind and the rest will follow.
Network,
What is health like for you?
but we survived.
Why is it lagging?
I
No,
have not.
I didn't enjoy myself because I was not even hearing myself. Like you just keep lagging. I don't even
Yeah,
know.
sadly.
I'm just
Some
really
days.
surprised.
You don't.
And you know one thing I have found out? Right now, I can hear you in